Many people talk about parking your money in things like real estate and everything else, but when it comes to moving your money, how do you do so in a efficient, secure manner? Now, let's get into it. Some people may say, oh, you can go ahead and transfer it electronically. You could keep it in a bank. You could put it in gold, so on and so forth. In this video, we're going to cover what's known as bearer bonds. See, most people don't talk about bearer bonds because it's only used by the financially wealthy individuals. Now, bearer bonds are pretty much like carrying cash. So if I had, let's say, a stack of bearer bonds, so on and so forth, on me, I can literally put them in my backpack just like a piece of paper, so on and so forth, like you do with cash. And because it's like a cashier's check or anything else, I can then move it undetected. Not only could I move it undetected, yes, it has a serial number and things like that, but there are different types of bonds, and I'll let you do the research for yourself. However, these bonds are not only secure, but they're able to transfer individually between bank towards bank. Now, when it comes to securing your future, not to be nefarious or anything or hide funds, because remember, the government put sanctions on a bank for a certain country because they didn't like what they were doing. So to emphasize power, they froze certain assets. See, you can't freeze bearer bonds. You can't even put a hold on certain securities because of the fact that, well, it's like cash. And if it's like cash, well, cash can be spent anywhere and could be exchanged for different types of currency. So anybody holding a bearer bond is literally the owner of that certificate, right? Most people will say CDs are great, but they're slow to accrue. Now, just to tap into it, there is something called high yield bearer bonds that you could look into. And those are other forms of financial securities and assets that you can utilize to not only grow your money, but to move it as well. So you could put your stuff into real estate, but what if your real estate gets taken? Now you have no income, right? And if you have no income or you have no assets or anything else to leverage, then how are you going to obtain more capital, i.e. money, funds, so on and so forth, so that you can move forward in life? So if you found this video helpful so far, go ahead and smash that like button down below. Don't forget to follow me. But let's keep going, shall we? Now, not to take advantage of this for anybody that's nefarious or has bad intent, but what people can do with bearer bonds is a variety of things because it's like cash. Remember, if you had $100 bill and you travel to another country, you can either turn that into that currency or use that $100 bill to get you somewhere else because of the currency conversion rate. Now, let's talk about, well, what's going on in the news and media today. Well, apparently there's a lot of financial fraud and things going on, but how do you hide all those things? Well, one of the things you can do is to take bearer bonds and then pay people off with them, because anybody who holds them is the owner and they can go ahead and cash in on them, creating a flawless victory when it comes to paying people off. Now, can it be traced back? Yes, to a certain extent, but if the bearer bonds were purchased through a company, if the bearer bonds were purchased through a company and that company or that entity is located somewhere else, let's say outside of the country, X, Y, and Z, and that company went and purchased a American or another bearer bond from out of the country, so on and so forth, or something similar to that type of asset, well, it's going to get linked back to the company, not the individual. Now, you may have to sign off on certain bearer bonds, but these are ways to move it. Now, you can utilize bearer bonds in another fashion. You can take those, go to places like Florida, exchange those bearer bonds for other types of currency like gold, then move the gold somewhere else or exchange that for currency. And so on and so forth, right? Because remember, I'll use the movie example, John Wick. They had gold coins, etc., and each coin represented a favor or a form of payment, so on and so forth. Well, same thing applies. You could take the bearer bond, go down to Florida, still within the United States, exchange that for gold or purchasing gold assets, so on and so forth. Now, that gold could be stamped or it could not be stamped. But let's face it, if it's 100% gold or 99.9% gold, it's gold, right? And gold is valuable everywhere. Now you can take that somewhere else and put that into either a separate bank account or another type of financial asset, and then just do a handoff of either a account number and routing number, passing the account off to whomever that you want to give those funds to, or passing off the assets or securities that you want to give to the other individual in exchange for, well, let's say a favor or something like that of the sort. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because, well, as you accumulate wealth and as you accumulate, things in life, you're going to want to find ways to secure it just in case for a rainy day, so on and so forth. Why do I tap on the dark side, so on and so forth? Well, because of everything that happens, right? Sometimes people will get to a certain point, and because they get to a certain point, other nefarious actors, con artists, etc., will try to step in. Now, being an out-of-the-box thinker, because of my background of being a magician, I would get presented certain scenarios like this, and people would come up to me and be like, hypothetically, how would you do this? And this is just a scenario in which I would, normally move something like this. Not to say that I would do it myself, nor would I attempt to do it, because, well, let's face it, the bad people always get caught and the good people always win, right? And then the nice people always try to keep up with the good people. But let's face it, nice guys finish last for a reason, because they make sure their ladies finish first multiple times. Anyways, moving forward. So, if you are interested in things like this, or you would like to learn more on how to secure your future, secure your freedom, or find your freedom, go ahead, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Till next time, my friends, take care. Mwah.